Welcome to Tax Tips and Tea. My name is Lynette. I'm with AT Pros, and today we're going to talk about something scary. Why the IRS doesn't scare my clients anymore, and it shouldn't scare you either. We're going to go over some of the things that are the biggest fears of people, especially if you file by yourself online or you have a tax preparer that maybe just doesn't communicate very much. We're going to talk about reasons why the IRS scares people and why you shouldn't be scared. So let's go ahead and dive in. So, the IRS fear, what it looks like. One, ignoring IRS letters until they pile up or disappear. I have a lot of clients, I didn't get any letters. Well, they do send out letters, but it could have been that you moved, or the IRS sometimes will skip months also, especially if they feel like, it's taking too long to collect. But it doesn't mean that it goes away. If you've received one letter, believe me, it's still there. Number two, dreading tax season so much that you delay filing for months. I've had clients come in after not filing for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I think the most I've seen was 8 years that they never filed. They had garnishments from their paycheck, but they never filed the returns. So, because they just were scared, they didn't know what paperwork they needed. They didn't have anybody that they worked with. And then they came to me and I helped them figure it all out. And unfortunately, they did lose some money because is a statute of limitations, but it's still nice to get them all caught up and know exactly where they're at and help them go forward. Number three, skipping deductions and paying whatever the number shows without asking questions. So one, it could be that you didn't give all your paperwork to your accountant or your tax person, and you never really told them about some other extra expenses that you had. You never asked the question. Maybe you thought that they were too busy, or that maybe it really wasn't a deduction. The best thing you could do is ask and say, no, it's not deductible. But we always say there's no stupid question. The only stupid question you have is the one you don't ask. And I really believe that too. I've had clients ask me some of the craziest questions, but if the people don't know, I'm the one that's trained for this, not the client. So there is no stupid questions when it comes to taxes. Number four, feeling powerless because you don't understand the rules. There are some rules that you should know, and there's some rules that you shouldn't have to worry about if you're working with someone. If you are in business for yourself or you are an employee, hire a professional to help you if you really doubt anything. I have a lot of clients that have filed online on the simple software, and then we find out that they had a side business with expenses and they had deductions or something, and they never even put it on their tax return, and they lost out on those deductions because they just didn't know who to ask. Number five, assuming the IRS contact means something is very wrong. A lot of letters that are received by for taxpayers, maybe they just don't have a copy of your return, but you filed, you have proof of filing everything, but the IRS makes mistakes. And sometimes they have to ask follow-up questions. So anytime you receive a letter from the IRS, don't think it's an audit. Audits are not that common. There is our selective pool that are pulled, and then there are some random ones. But don't just fear that every time you file a tax return, you're going to get audited. More than likely, you're not. Your chances are very low. But as long as your tax return is done accurately, especially if you're working with a professional, it's going to lower your chances of ever even getting a letter from the IRS. Or if you do get a letter from the IRS, at least you have someone to talk to about it. Number six, wishing you had someone in your corner who speaks IRS. That is what I do. I'm an enrolled agent, meaning I'm licensed by the Internal Revenue Service to represent my clients. So I work with you to work with them. I'm like the middleman, you could say. I do the tax preparation, but I can also do representation and everything for audits and other issues that come along. So, six things the IRS wants you to know. Okay, so they want you to know they're not out to get you. They want you to know your rights so that you can feel at ease when you file your tax return. We all have to file them, and putting it off doesn't make it go away. So, knowledge is your power. Understanding IRS rules changes everything. You're not helpless. Number two, the IRS has limits too. There are strict rules on what the IRS can and cannot do to you. Number three, most issues are fixable. Like I said, sometimes it's just a letter. Maybe it's a little bit of an underpayment penalty. Maybe you paid an estimate a little late. Not everything is a dire situation. Sometimes it's just correspondence. Communication is key. Ignoring the IRS is where the things get a little sticky. Ignoring a letter for 2 months is fine. Ignoring it for 8 months is bad. But ignoring those letters is the worst response. Basically, no response is bad. Responding calmly is the best. Working with someone also, they can respond on your behalf if there's anything missing or questions or abatements of penalties or anything like that. There's a way that we can help you and put you at ease. My job is to make sure that my clients are taken care of, making sure that they don't have anything to worry about and that they can sleep good at night. I know that I sleep good at night because I know I'm taking care of my clients honestly and within the law. Number five, an EA is your ally. That's what I am. I'm an enrolled agent. So we can represent you before the IRS, and that levels the field. So I have been doing this longer than some of the auditors have in the IRS. So I know what they're looking for. I know how to respond to them. I know the paperwork that they need, but it doesn't mean you're going to jail. But ignoring it is when things get a little sticky. So if you've ever ran into that situation where you got a letter or an audit or anything and you ignored it, it's just getting worse. Number six, preparation equals confidence. File correctly, keep records, and the IRS becomes far less intimidating. Like I said, if you're filing on time and the work is complete and it's clean and it's clear and you have the documentation, then there's absolutely nothing to worry about. Even if the IRS came knocking, even if they wanted to audit you, you know that you have everything in order, and that should help you with any nervousness or anything like that because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So, what the experts say. So, this is from the IRS Taxpayer Advocate Service, and I've had to actually call them on behalf of my clients quite a few times. And this is when maybe one of the auditors maybe did something that I wasn't really in agreement with. And I've actually reached out to the IRS Taxpayer Advocate Service on behalf of my clients. Taxpayer rights are real. The IRS Taxpayer Bill of Rights gives you 10 fundamental rights, including the right to be informed, to challenge, and to retain representation. I'm the representation. So you do have rights against the IRS also. Sometimes I think we probably have more rights than they do. But if we don't have the documentation they're requesting over and over, then they can just close out the case and then you have to appeal it and all that kind of stuff. Costs a lot of time, takes a lot of funds to pay someone to help you with that. But also, like I said, it's time and your peace of mind that really is getting robbed. The other one is the total money makeover. Dave Ramsey, I am a big advocate on some of his teachings, not all of it, but some of it. And he does have a way to manage money and to help with that foundation and making sure that your taxes are being handled correctly. How to keep your books organized and keep your records organized and stuff like that too. It's really great if you're interested in that kind of stuff. If not, your tax person or your accountant can help you with that also. So you already have more power than you think. So you have the right to question, challenge, and be represented in front of the IRS. Knowledge removes fear, and now you have more of it. An enrolled agent in your corner changes the entire dynamic. The IRS is a process, and every process can be navigated. So you are not at the mercy of the IRS. You are prepared, walk in like it. So, especially if you have someone in your corner that's helping you, they actually can represent you within an audit. You don't even have to step foot into an office or anything. Your accountant or tax person should be able to handle that for you. So, take a moment to reflect. What is one thing that you've been afraid to ask about your taxes? And what would change if you finally got the answer? So sit with this, write it down, then let's find out together. So I want to elaborate a little bit on this. So what is the one thing that I've been afraid to ask about my taxes? So if you've been working with a professional, have you ever asked them what your effective tax rate is? Or what is an effective tax rate? Have you asked them what your tax bracket is? Have you asked them if there are any deductions that you're missing that maybe you should be aware of? Have you asked them about retirement plans? If you don't have one, maybe you should set up an IRA. There's other things. The good thing is that most tax preparers that have been in the business a long time are going to ask you these questions or at least include it on a worksheet that they give you to when you're gathering your papers. Make sure that you look at those lists. Don't ignore them because there are some things on there that when we look at them, it triggers some questions for us to ask you because we don't know everything about you. So we have to learn about it by our checkoff sheets. That gives us a little bit more information about you, who you are, what kind of work you do, if you have any side businesses, how many children you have, if you're pregnant, all of those kind of things. So it gives us some idea of some questions to ask you so that we can make better decisions with you to make sure that you're paying the least amount of taxes legally possible. So start this month. If you are having any issues with the Internal Revenue Service, if you've received a letter in the past or anything, first thing I want you to do is to go onto the irs.gov website and pull your transcripts. You could search for transcripts right in the little search bar, and it's all online. They'll direct you through it. It's a step-by-step process, but you should be able to pull your IRS transcripts. Know your taxpayer rights. If you go onto the IRS website, you'll also find this too. You can type in know your taxpayer rights and it will give you the whole article on those things also. If you have an IRS letter, open it promptly. You might find out that it's not as bad as you think. So make sure that you never let those go too long. Definitely, they like to be responded to within 30 days. Don't get me wrong, they sometimes don't open the mail or respond back for months, but you have a postmark on that. If it's something that's really serious that you need to respond to, I definitely recommend getting certified mailing so you can show proof that you mailed it to them in a timely manner. Organize your tax records. Start a simple folder system, digital or physical, or receipts and documents. There's a lot of free apps out there that you could just take a screenshot of your receipts. We actually offer a portal for our clients with unlimited access, and we create a folder for them where they can upload their things during the year. They can either you know, upload it as a PDF, a document, or even an image off of their phone. So definitely make sure that you keep a copy of those receipts. If you lose a receipt, let's say you paid cash for, I don't know, supplies or something for your business, and you lose that receipt, you don't get the write off. You have no proof of it. So if you do have something like that, make sure that your accountant, tax person, or something has a way that will allow you to upload a copy of that. So in case you lose that receipt, there's still a record of it. And make sure that you could still access that portal too in case you need to get a copy of it. But don't use it as your organization system for everything, but definitely use it for anything that is business related or tax deductible. If not, you can also set up a cheap Dropbox or use an app on your phone. There's lots of ways to keep track of your receipts. You still want to keep the paper copies, but in case you lose it, you still have another backup. So let's see, schedule a tax strategy call with me if you have any questions, concerns, or anything like that. If you want to talk to me about doing your taxes for next year, or maybe you haven't done last year's yet, is a perfect time right now to get you all set up and get you up to date so that you can go into the next year feeling confident and clear about what you can and cannot deduct. So you're more than welcome to do that too. You can find my link and my calendar in my description, and you're more than welcome to just set up a discovery call with me and we can go over those things. So, and then last, make sure that you stay connected with us. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on the notifications to the page. We do have information in our descriptions, but you can also find us on Substack and Instagram. If you have any questions or concerns or anything like that, make sure that you either reach out to us through our website, atprosinc.com, or you put it in the comment sections right below. We appreciate you being here. I hope you learned something. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you later. Bye.